for Jeffy. We've just found out something incredibly important for him.
I'm excited.
Yeah. You're
saying that as you're eating. You're actually eating on the air.
Good for you, though. Almonds, good for your heart. Good for you. You only have a few a day.
Really?
Yeah, a few.
Bag or two.
A few gallons of containers.
What have you had, like 1,500 pounds of almonds so far today?
They're good for you. It's supposed to be good for your heart.
Okay. Anyway, apparently fat is the next black. And so you're going to be in style very, very soon.
Is that what that means?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think that's what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it means,
it's the new black.
Yeah,
it's fashion.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what it means.
You're in style.
Charles Barkley's comments about obese people is he was once known. He was once known as the round mound of rebound.
I was wondering why he didn't bring that up in this segment, because I mean,
he should have.
Don't you get exemptions from making fat jokes if you're known
fat.
as the round mound of rebound?
Yeah, you would think so. So anyway, he's making fun of fat women, and Shaquille O'Neal is not exactly, Kate Moss himself, right?
No, he's
and so. You might imagine the TNT studio guys sitting around mouthing off as guys do, giving their opinions about how women look. But affirmative action for people who are weight challenged, apparently it's...
and this is what I mean.
This is what's coming. It's not that you're going to be in style.
Right.
It's that people are going to be defending you now.
Yeah, this is going to be the new action movement. There's going to be people behind Jeffy trying to help him out and, kind of push him along, which is not easy.
And really coming after us for assailing your fat rights.
Yes.
Your obese person rights.
Right. Because a lot of people consider you to be
you're fat.
Overweight.
There's a lot of people say, hey, Jeffy, man, that guy's fat, right? And then we would jump in and say, well, yeah, he's really fat. I mean, fat doesn't suffice, right, to say just fat. I mean, he's...
But see, now I'm going to have people that are on my side.
Right.
Yes, that's the thing.
And we're worried that it will capsize if that happens.
Like Guam. Tip over.
Really?
And capsize like Hank Johnson was worried about. Anyway, here's what happened. Was this just last night on TNT?
I think the first comment is his initial remarks that got him into quote-unquote trouble.
Okay,
this is him
this
joking
is from last week.
About San Antonio and the women there.
A lot of women are in San Antonio.
Some big old women down there.
Why would you say that?
That's a gold mine for Weight Watchers.
Why does every conversation about San Antonio eventually come around to...
They have spandex in San Antonio?
Oh, no. And Victoria, definitely a secret.
Oh, man.
They can't wear no Victoria's Secret down there. It's a secret. Some big old women.
Charles, all you're trying to do right now...
Hit them out the park.
It's like that. It's like slow pitch.
Victoria's Secret down there.
Oh, man. It's not even slow pitch.
That's a gold mine. That's a gold mine truck for Weight Watchers. They down there be wearing bloomers.
All he does...
They wearing big old bloomers down there, and they're not wearing no...
In the event that San Antonio goes...
Ain't nothing skimpy down in San Antonio, Shaq.
I mean, funny initial comments, but then it's just a cacophony of noise.
We're just sitting there at a bar and talking then.
Yeah, it's something every time this show is particularly bad at it on TNT. They just talk over each other all the time. And every time I watch that show, I remember I need to be better on this show.
We need to not do that.
Make sure that we don't say.
It's funny, every time I watch that show, I think to myself, Stu needs to be better at that.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, it's weird.
It's interesting you got that. So I guess some fat activist groups and the women in San Antonio not happy about being called fat by Charles Barkley, who's not exactly thin. Therefore, they made some statements criticizing him. I guess a couple shows talked about it. So Charles Barkley addressed the commentary. And this goes back to what we said earlier when it comes to Stephen A. Smith. You have to have a company that will stand behind you. If you want good commentary, if you want entertaining television, you need companies to stand up and say, look, we hired this guy because he's funny, because he makes outlandish comments. That's his job. So we're standing behind him. Obviously, he's heard that he has his company standing behind him. So he's able to come back on the air after this controversy occurs and address it like this. This is how it's supposed to work. Watch.
50. We got a minute. Can I say something?
Yeah. That's why you're here.
Okay. I've heard from some complaints from the people of San Antonio.
Why would that be?
Let me just say this. I heard they were talking about us on some stupid show called The Talk the other day. I don't know what that is. I heard that some idiot in San Antonio started a blog. Let me just
What's
say.
the blog?
I don't know.
Okay.
Listen, I'm just going to have fun on TV. You know I'm joking. I say San Antonio got a great organization. They got the best point guard. They got the greatest power forward ever. Some of you people don't like my sense of humor. Is what I got to say. Turn off your damn television. I'm not going to change. If you don't like me or the show, turn it off. And they want me to apologize. That's not going to happen.
What
That's not going to happen.
That's
Me joking
outstanding.
about those big old women down in San Antonio. And so, listen, y'all can write letters to your mama, your daddy, your uncle. I'm going to have fun on television. You know that I'm joking around, but if y'all waiting on me to apologize, hell gonna freeze
Wait,
over.
what are you apologizing for?
There's no big old women down there.
Going on for 6 years.
And let me
now.
tell you,
Rand,
come on.
I think we're out of time.
Come on.
What do they eat?
Oh, churros. Churros on the house.
That's great. I mean, not only does he not apologize, they make it worse.
He actually continues to make the exact same
He
jokes.
keeps talking about those big old women down there in San Antonio. He insults the city, he insults the women, he insults the food. I mean, everything about San Antonio except their point guard. He's insulted, and he doesn't care. He doesn't apologize. It's a joke.
Now,
it's supposed to be entertaining television, and frankly, it was.
To get clearances like this, to be able to say things like
You
this,
gotta
there
have
is
TNT
one requirement.
back him.
You got to have TNT back you. But the easiest way to make that happen is to be liberal.
Yeah.
If you are
Well,
progressive,
true.
I mean, look
That's
at
true.
Bill Maher. It's the same story. HBO
true.
stands behind him. He's
Yep.
used literally the worst words in the language to describe his political opponents, and no
Right.
one says anything. He's the #1 donor to Barack Obama as he blurts out the C word about every one of his opponents.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Because he's liberal.
fine.
As long as you're liberal, you can do all of these things. But
He's
this is
exempt.
how all of society should run. We shouldn't be protesting
should.
Charles Barkley or Bill Maher or anybody about what they say. Let them say it. You learn things about people when they say
Especially
things.
in a comedic forum like that. When
Absolutely.
you're joking about it, you shouldn't have to come back and grovel and then be suspended and then be beaten with sticks and then have to go through a re-education camp. And
Right.
then, shave your head and walk backwards for the rest of your life. You shouldn't have to do any of that stuff. If everybody would just back their employees like TNT, liberal or not, it'd just be a much better place.
Look at
in
the
which to live.
other sports network who has fired people for writing a headline,
right.
chink in the armor.
Yeah.
I mean, when it had,
That had
nothing to do with being critical to Asians in any way, it was just a phrase that applied to the story that had been written. and they
ESPN's the
fired
worst
him.
on that.
They are the worst. So TNT, you got to give them a lot of credit because they're in the same business basically when it comes to nighttime programming.
So if you're looking for a bunch of companies to back their employees like that, in the words of Charles Barkley, that ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
You're probably right, but
Yeah.
I'll sit here stupidly fighting for it until it does.